Empty streets, the echoes in my mind.
Paper cuts. Chapter 1. A young man, wrapped in an oversized green hoodie, sat on the bleachers observing a group of boys playing basketball. He wasn't interested in the game. He was simply seeking refuge from something troubling him. In this place, amidst the vibrant energy and joy of others, he felt a faint hope that some of their vitality might rub off on him, reigniting his own spirit. The energy of the place was infectious, and he soaked it in, letting it fill him with positivity and a sense of belonging. As he watched the people around him laugh and chat, he felt a weight lift off his shoulders. At this moment, he no longer felt alone. It gave him an illusion of strength, making him believe that maybe he could face his demons head-on. But as he sat there, watching the other boys play, a deep sense of envy washed over him. He longed to join their games, but he couldn't shake his self-consciousness, most of it centered around his weight and appearance. The thought of being laughed at and ridiculed was too much to bear. Lost in thought, Asher's attention was suddenly drawn to something moving out of the corner of his eye. He turned his head to see a basketball flying out of bounds and rolling to a stop at his feet. As a group of boys jogged over, laughing and joking with each other, a sense of dread washed over him. He knew what was coming. Having moved from one basketball court to another, he had witnessed these scenes countless times before. The taunting and harassment were all too familiar. Sure enough, as the boys approached, they began to taunt him. "Hey, fatty, why don't you throw the ball back to us? Oh, wait, your arms are too small to reach that far." They jeered, laughing and nudging each other, thinking they were so clever. Asher's face flushed with embarrassment and anger. He wanted to scream at them, to tell them to leave him alone, but he knew that would only make things worse. So, he clenched his fists and tried to ignore them. Just as he was about to get up and leave, a shadow fell over him. He looked up to see a boy standing in front of him, blocking out the sun. The boy was tall and lean, with dark hair and piercing blue eyes. These eyes seemed to hold a depth of experiences beyond his years, hinting at a maturity that sets him apart. He had a smile on his face, but the smile didn't seem to reach his eyes. Yet there's an undeniable magnetism that draws others in. His gaze, though distant, carries an intensity that leaves an impression, leaving those who encounter him curious about the thoughts behind those captivating eyes. "Hey there," the boy said. "Can you toss me back the ball?" He stood there staring at Asher with a smile that didn't reach his cold eyes. A shiver ran down Asher's spine, making him avert his gaze. Without saying a word, Asher abruptly stood up and walked away from the ball, caught, deliberately ignoring the boy's request. He just didn't want to be near someone who gave off such unsettling vibes. As he walked away, his heart pounded in his chest. The feeling of narrowly escaping a dangerous situation lingered, and the memory of the boy's cold, piercing eyes continued to haunt him. Once he had put some distance between himself and the basketball court, Asher paused to catch his breath and calm his nerves. He knew he had made the right choice in leaving, but he couldn't help but wonder what might have happened if he had stayed and talked with the boy. Could they have become friends? Asher shook his head to clear his thoughts. "Stop daydreaming, Asher," he scolded himself before continuing on his way home. He was grateful to be away from the unsettling energy of the basketball court and the enigmatic boy who had caught his attention. With his mind still swirling from the strange encounter, Asher remained unaware of the dark, cold eyes that followed his hasty retreat. The boy's eyes followed Asher's retreating figure with a mixture of curiosity and amusement. He had sensed a certain vulnerability in the quiet boy and had been intrigued by the possibility of drawing him into his dark world. But the amusement on his face was anything but innocent. It was a cold, sinister smirk, fueled by the knowledge that he wielded a certain power over those drawn to him. The boy wasn't merely seeking conversation or a new friend. He was hunting for someone to manipulate and control. His gaze lingered with a predatory intensity, plotting how he might exploit Asher's vulnerability for his own amusement. As Asher vanished from view, the boy's lips curled into a cruel, knowing smile. He understood that patience was key, and he would need to bide his time until the perfect moment to make his move, and draw his new muse into his thrall. When that time came, he would revel in the dominance he wielded over his latest pawn, savouring the control he could exert. Each moment of waiting only heightened his anticipation, as he envisioned the dark influence he would soon impose, turning Asher's vulnerability into a source of twisted pleasure and power.